Hi everyone and welcome along. We're going to paint one of my favourite flowers today, the California poppy. Today's video is sponsored by Skillshare and I can't wait to tell you about what they have in store for you this year. So grab your paints and let's get started. Right everyone, so whilst I mix my colours up, let me tell you about our sponsor Skillshare and the latest class that I've been trying this month, because Skillshare is all about taking greater control of your career and creative path, because traditional jobs, well, not one size fits all, and I certainly know that as a freelance watercolour artist. It's a rather strange job really if you think about it. So this month I've been looking at a class called Social Media for Creatives, 5 exercises to power your freelance career, and it's by a Skillshare teacher called Andy J. Pizza, illustrator, designer and podcaster. I've looked at his classes before and really found them fantastic, and I think that's what's quite cool, is you can find teachers who really speak to you and connect with you, and it's nice to just keep following any new content they put out. But social media can be pretty daunting, especially for creatives. So this class is great to help navigate the platforms, get rid of all the noise, the conflicting advice, the constant changing sort of trends and rules and things. And Andy's just really fantastic for helping you navigate through that. And Skillshare is just brilliant because it is subtitled in a number of languages. It's a really sort of no adverts. It's a fantastically relaxing platform to watch and learn from. And you have the opportunity, as my viewers on my channel here, to get 1 month free Skillshare trial by clicking the link down below in the episode notes. So I really hope you go and do that, because it is a fantastic opportunity to get all of this amazing knowledge at your fingertips for 1 month free. Okay, so I have been mixing up a lovely Cobalt Turquoise just here. I'll bring it in a little bit here. And I'm going to mix it in with some green gold. I quite like, some sort of Sap Green, green gold mix. I'm just making like a fresh, vibrant colour that we're going to create a nice little panel. I'm going to use my 1-stroke brushes. These are the Pro Art range and they're absolutely fantastic. I'm getting the brush nice and wet and really coated in some watercolour, and I am going to paint onto my page a rectangle, just using the great sharp corners that the 1-stroke brush can create for me, which is awesome. For more information on all the materials that I'm using, you can also find that in the episode notes. For anyone who's not sure what the episode notes means, underneath the video, underneath the title, there's actually a lot of text hiding there. If you click read more, you'll see all the details, links to the Skillshare trial, links to where you can get the art supplies that I'm using in the video. It's all rather good. So I've finished off that rectangle. We're going to let that dry, and then we're going to paint some California poppies. When we paint flowers, sometimes it's nice to just sort of give them a little bit of a different setting. So that's why I like painting these little shapes. We did floral word art all the way through last year, where we painted a panel and had some of the flowers sort of popping out. So yeah, that's what we're going to do. So I'm just drawing the stems. That's all we need really. And then I'm going to take my Filbert brush, size 8, and we're going to use the wonderful Cadmium Orange, which I think is an absolute perfect colour for California poppies. My one is a professional quality Winsor & Newton. Okay, let's go. So I'm going to just squash the brush down, and that's it really. It's the beauty of it. And I'm going to squash it down again, and then I'm going to come in from the side. Now I actually think that the tops of the petals would be better served a bit flatter, so I'm going to use, there we go, that's quite nice. Don't worry about splatters. We can deal with those. But I just love, I love that the California poppy is the kind of flower that sort of appears before your eyes without a huge amount of sort of effort or skill, really. I think the better poppy paintings are the ones that are painted with a fair bit of irreverence and confidence. Okay. So you've just seen there like some rather wild brushstroke action, but that comes from a lot of practice. It's a lot of practice to do something rather odd and abstract, but those petals are done so that they can sort of appear in a singular stroke. Now there is this little bit here, so I'm going to take my pointed round brush and I just want to get that nicely solidly filled in there. Sometimes it sort of just catches a little bit. Okay, so we want to allow these to dry, but what I am going to do is, just whilst we're waiting for them to dry a little bit, just added a bit of Cadmium Red into the Cadmium Orange, and just making a slightly subtle addition. I want to just drop in just that little bit of extra colour. There's just a little bit of deepness at the base of the poppy. Right, we're going to let those dry and then come back to it. These have dried really nicely, and now I'm just getting a colour together for the stems. It's a slightly sort of, I don't know, it's like a muted yellowy green, so I'm just taking a bit of Sap Green and Sap Green and Green Gold, and that seems to have made a nice colour. I'm tempted to put a little bit of Paynes Grey into that, just to knock it back with the vibrance, just to dull it down and mute it a little bit. And I'm going to use the rigger brush, get that really nicely coated in the colour, and I'm going to paint a line of colour, and then I'm going to paint another one. I'm going to do 2 parallel lines that might just join at points, so we'll paint the rest of those stems in. So those parallel lines are painted in, and now I'm going to use my 4/10 brush to just sort of paint in a little bit of colour at the top, all of those, and then to just actually widen the top. And whilst we wait for that to dry, there's an amazing little sort of, the sepal is like the base of the seed pod that you see on a dried out poppy. It's really interesting. Anyway, so whilst we're waiting for that, we're going to do some leaves. So we're going to have these sort of sprouting out the side. So California poppy leaf is very slender, a bit like sort of a fennel plant or something like that. So perfect to create with the rigger brush. So after one main curving stem, paint in some mini branches that are just sort of coming off in the other direction. And I think the more little tendrils you can do, the better. You can see how much paint the rigger brush can hold. It's brilliant. It just keeps going for ages. You don't need to go back into the palette for quite a while. So to finish off this piece, we just want to make a slightly deeper, darker version of that colour. It's a bit stronger. So a bit more green gold, a bit more Paynes Grey, and that's a great colour. Very pleased with that. I'll take my 4/10 brush, and now I'm going to paint in a little band around the base of the flower, and just a little bit of extra colour there. I think we can just about see a band around the base of this one. And then we'll add just a little bit of darkness to these leaves. And what's cool is you can also use this as an opportunity to maybe add in a few extra branches just to make them look even more amazing. And there you have an extremely simple approach to painting California poppies, but I think a rather lovely, effective one. So just with those little bits of low light and the little panel in the back, you've created a really lovely, effective piece of wall art. Thanks so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed that one. I want to say a huge thank you to our sponsor Skillshare, and to remind you that the first 1,000 people to click the link in the episode notes below get a free month's trial of Skillshare. Until next time, we'll see you again. Bye!